You know, she didn't make any of her shots in warm-up when she was warming up. She didn't make one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she's a pressure player then. That's what I have to say about Gertie. And she's special. And when she asked me to walk her out, I said, this girl's got to be so nervous. And then she took, did you guys see her? She took deep breath, got control over her emotions. And that is not easy to do. And she crushed it, man. So happy for her. But I didn't know she missed all of her practice shots. But she's a gamer.
The Michael Malone Show is brought to you by the Central City Casino Parkway. Take I-70 to exit 243. The Central City Parkway, your 4 lanes to fun. Coach Malone joins us. Yeah, you know, Coach, depending on when I get to the game or whatever you're doing, you kind of watch these people take the warm-ups for that first shot. And I don't know if people realize that everybody gets to practice a little bit, but, you know, you can't.
Not everybody.
Oh, you didn't get to practice?
Not a single.
Oh,
not a
right?
single opportunity to take a shot.
Funny. Well, in general, they do. And, Coach, how are you, first of all? I'm sorry. I'm rambling on. How you doing?
That's okay. I like listening to you ramble. I'm doing well.
All right. So I'm watching and Gertie, and I don't know who's doing what, and I'm watching her, and like, oh, okay, they're moving up from the free throw line. I'm like, oh, boy. It's a harder shot than I think a lot of people would think. I think everybody watching it in the stands or whatever.
She's still a little girl. She's not
no doubt about it. And one shot's going here, one shot's going there, 5 or 6 shots, and I'm like, oh well, okay. It's not an easy thing to do. And Coach, I was like watching it, like specifically, like how's this gonna go? And dude, she just calm as collective, just put it up, kind of rolled on the rim,
Beautiful.
rolled right in. It was awesome. It was really cool. And then I noticed you were down there, which is unusual. Usually you're not down there for that stuff. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the backstory is when I got here 10 years ago, we've always had a great relationship with the Special Olympics. And I met Gertie one of the first few years that I was here, and have often stayed in touch with her mom. And as I was walking out to the bench before the game, I noticed they were on the baseline. And so I went over and gave her a hug, said hello. And she said, Coach, would you walk me out for my shot?
Oh.
And obviously, I could not say no to Gertie, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'm glad we beat Utah. I'm glad that we played well. But by far, the best moment of that whole night was walking Gertie out and seeing her step up in front of a full house and knock down that shot. And life is about moments, and that's a moment that I'll always remember because Gertie's a special, special person, and I'm glad to call her a friend.
That's awesome.
So beautiful.
Awesome stuff. Really cool.
Yeah, and that night, what we remembered of Joker's 65 Euro step, one-footed long shot, it's the night of Gertie.
The night of Gertie.
The night of Gertie.
By the way, that shot, you know, he did take that. I know that's not his injured foot. His left foot is his injured foot. But that is not how you throw a ball. You do not step with your right foot and throw it with your right hand. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would do it with the opposite foot if you're really going to do that, Coach. But it's Jokic.
Nikola is special, and he can left foot, right foot,
whatever.
left hand, right hand. It doesn't matter. As some people would say, he's not ambidextrous, he's amphibious. So he's pretty good.
Is there ever a time before, after, during practice that you've ever seen him practice stuff like this?
No, he's not a guy like a lot of our guys will stay around and shoot half-court shots. Nikola, maybe years ago, but no, he's just a guy that he gets his work in and he gets out of here. He doesn't spend a lot of time practicing those trick shots. It just speaks to really the unbelievable and uncanny touch that he has. I think he's had 2 of those this year where he's hit 3/4 court type shots that I didn't even touch the rim. They were just all net. So just incredible touch, incredible talent.
Well, what was funny afterwards, he goes, well, I'm like 2 of 36, so it's not that good. And because he does not care.
He doesn't care about his percentage.
He doesn't care about his percentage. And by the way, NBA stat nerds, that shouldn't count against your percentage, but whatever. And he hucks him up all the time. So his again, Coach, the uniqueness of Nikola, his was like, well, I'm 2 for 36. Is that impressive? Not really. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But that's Nikola.
Well, no, but to your point, I think that the big deal that I love more about it than anything is that I've seen this for 20-plus years now. Most guys get the ball in those situations, and they think they're really being sly. They'll take a dribble, they'll wait for the buzzer, then they'll shoot.
Yes,
because they don't want to affect their percentages. And Nikola doesn't care. He's like, even if I have 0.02 chance of making this shot. I don't care. I'm going to take it because it might go in, and that might help us win a game. And that's what I love more than anything is that, yes, it went in the other night, but he shoots those half-court heaves with no, consideration for what it's going to do to his percentages. And good for him for being that kind of a player.
You know, it's interesting because every non-athletic, but he also played water polo. I've learned, and you wonder,
Seriously?
yeah. So you learn that one hand, how well he is with the one hand. But I've watched film. He and Coach are over there playing pickle. Is it called pickle with you guys when you do the volleyball stuff?
No, different game. Pickleball, different game, but
No. Well,
telling you, man.
Remember baseball, you hit back those little fungal quick grounders. I thought that was pickle. What's it called in volleyball when you're hitting each other, smash, get it back, boom, boom, boom? What is that called?
I don't know. You're just hitting the ball, bump, set, spike. I'm not really sure. My girls play volleyball. I didn't.
Right, exactly.
But but you guys both look like you know what you're doing when you do it.
It's interesting.
Nikola's wife, Natalia, was a volleyball player, and we've actually, when I was in Serbia, me and Nikola's brother, Nemanja, played 2-on-2 versus Nikola and Natalia, and they beat us. I'm not lying when I tell you every sport. The first time I went to visit Nikola, we were playing a game. There's a little net with a soccer ball, and you just use your feet. And we were playing, and Nikola picked Felipe because Felipe's from Brazil. And 5 minutes into the game, he says, Felipe, you must be the only guy from Brazil that can't play soccer.
Well, you go from Friday night, and it is what it is. Okay, cool. But you quickly turn the page to Minnesota after the game. So here we go. We're quickly turning the page, and it does seem to tick you off, the lack of success you've had against Minnie this year.
Well, it pisses me off. We lost to Washington twice. It pisses me off. We lost to Chicago twice. Losing. There are two types of people in this world: those that like to win and those that hate to lose. I'm definitely a person that hates to lose. And division team, we played them 2 years in a row in the playoffs. We've lost to them 5 straight times. They've beaten us on our home court way too many times recently. So yeah, those things bother me, and they should bother any competitor. I don't care who you're playing. Losing should be something that keeps you up at night, and hopefully our guys tomorrow night, we can come out and find a way to beat the T-Wolves as we, approach these last 7 games of the year.
You guys don't really struggle against very many teams, at least in the long term. Is there potentially maybe a little bit of a mental block there for the guys who got to get over the Timberwolves?
I don't think so. I mean, as I mentioned, 2 years ago, we beat them in the playoffs. Last year, we were down 2-0. Everybody thought the series was over. We win 3 in a row, and they win the last 2. This year, game 1, if you go back to that game, we're ahead in that game. That's the game that we should have won in Minnesota. Jamal had to leave that game with a concussion. Obviously, that kind of hurt us down the stretch. Give them credit. Game 2 and 3, they've dominated us. And the two things that I would point out more than anything, if you look at the points off turnovers in the last 2 meetings and the points that we've allowed on the offensive glass, that accounts for 53 points a game in our last 2 head-to-head meetings. So we cannot continue to turn the ball over and give them life. And when we play good defense, we have to have the ability to all 5 defensive rebounds so we can get out and run. But no, I don't think there's any part of our players that goes into the game tomorrow night with a mental block or a belief that we cannot beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Give them credit. They've beaten us 3 times this year. But I think our guys are fired up for the opportunity to try to get a win tomorrow night.
It feels like after those 2 games, losses on the road, which offensive rebounding was just monster against you guys, there has been more of a concerted effort, and you talked about it. It's fun to get out and run, but you can't run if you got a ball, and you can't run as well as if you're always taking it out. Okay, I got it out. Who's got it out? But now all of a sudden it's a walk up the court. So it feels like guys are being more aggressive. One of the coaches used to say, rebounding out of their zone. I'm standing here, but the ball is 5 feet. I got to go get that ball. Seems like there's been more of an effort towards that in the last few games.
Well, and there needs to continue to be, obviously, with 7 games remaining, and then obviously whatever the postseason looks like, because every possession matters. And there are games where you look at the final box score sheet, and we are losing the possession game by a large margin because we're turning the ball over and we're giving teams 2nd and 3rd opportunities per possession. And you don't want to lose the possession game. You want to win that. And to your point, a lot of guys can rebound when the ball comes to you, but the elite rebounders, the great rebounders, are guys that go up and they snatch rebounds that are not in their zone. So we got to make sure we're not ball watching. We got to find bodies. Minnesota shoots a lot of threes, so we also have to understand long shots will equal long rebounds. And when you're able to do that, that will fuel your break. And against Minnesota and their very effective defense, we have to find ways to get some easy ones.
And last thing for me, when you guys won the championship, you had Brucey, you had KCP, you had a young and developing Christian Brown, you had AG healthy, and I thought you could go on the perimeter and throw 4 dogs out there defensively. Lost a couple of those guys. You Christian, I think, is battling every single night. You got the injury with Aaron that he's fighting through. Healthy Aaron in the playoffs going to help you guys tremendously. Who's that guy now that you're looking to can be that maybe that third dog defensively for you coming off the bench? And if so, is Peyton Watson living up to all the hype?
Well, I was going to say off the bench, we need Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson to be that bench unit. They have to be defensive minded. They have to get stops. They have to play fast. If we're taking the ball out of the net and we're walking it up, then we are no longer playing to the strength of that unit. So I think Russell Westbrook has shown he has the ability to guard some of the best players in the NBA. I started Peyton Watson last game with Jamal being out because I wanted to guard Colin Sexton, who had been putting up a lot of numbers for Utah. So I think 2 players, in Peyton and Russ, one a 17-year vet and one a third-year younger player, a guy that didn't play his first year in the league, need to come in every night with that defensive disposition. So I'm going to come out here and lock guys up, fuel our break, finish in transition, and just play with that physical, I'm going to make you feel me all night long mindset.
I had a funny moment earlier today. The Avs had a practice. I was down there. Do you guys have an organized practice today, or was it just kind of work on your own today, earlier today?
It was organized.
Okay, because the funny thing is watching the hockey guys run into a basketball guy, like the hockey journalists who just aren't used to it. So I'm walking with one of the hockey guys, and DeAndre Jordan just happened to pop up right there, and he got a nice sweat on, whatever. And I'm like, hey, DJ, that sort of thing. And the hockey guy goes to me, oh my God. Like, Coach, it is really, of course, you're used to it, the whole thing. But it is wild when you see somebody run into NBA players just out of the blue like that. They really are stunned by the athleticism and size of these guys. It's kind of funny to actually see. Do you ever have moments of that, like when you're just around regular people and they run into these guys?
I can't really say that I have.
Okay.
But I'll say there have been certain players in my 20-plus year NBA career, and I was around the NBA before that with my father. There are certain individuals that you were like when I coached Shaquille O'Neal in Cleveland.
Right.
Every day, even after 7 months, every day I came in, I could not get over how big he was. I was like, this. It was just like, this guy is just so damn big. DeAndre Jordan, another guy that is just ginormous. But I'll have a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you look so small when I see you on TV." And then now that I'm seeing you and you're not around 7 footers, you're actually not as small as I thought. I go, well, it's perspective, and obviously there's a lot of big guys in the NBA, and we have a bunch of big guys.
No doubt. Well, you just remind them.
I am not in danger. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
You just let them know that, Coach.
I'm still waiting for the T-shirt.
Oh, where are we on that, Dan? What happened with that? We definitely had a guy who said he was going to. I'm looking at my producer right now.
You sound like guys I grew up with. Hey, I know this guy over here. I know a guy. I got to talk to my cousin Tootie. Tootie's going to take care of it because he knows the guy.
All right.
Have your guy talk to my guy so I can wear the T-shirt.
I am not in danger. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you there.
All right, guys. Take care.
See you, Coach.
The